Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the locker room with Billy Schweim right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. It's the day after the rain, the day after the storm. The sun's coming out, but what a devastating loss for our Philadelphia Phillies last night. Josh Henning in the studio today to fill in for Pete Thompson, was unable to make it in to the studio to do the show. He's devastated by the loss last night. Josh Henning, hey, man, what's up?
That last night was gut-wrenching.
You know what? That's a good way to put it. Gut-wrenching. Demoralizing would be another way.
It's another one, yep.
I had nightmares sleeping last night. I watched the whole game. You know what's so funny? It was a pitching duel in the beginning, and then the Phillies took an early 1-0 lead, obviously, on a home run by Odubel Herrera. But then the Phillies only mustered 5 hits after that for the whole game?
Yeah, it got to a point where you could tell the players knew that they were going to be in a close one, and the game would break on very small plays, and it ended up breaking on very small plays.
I'll tell you what, man. You know, Andrew Knapp, Brad Miller. I mean, you know, and I like Torreyes, but you're starting to see, that he's not an everyday player. You can't be marching these guys out there. We've got to do better. Let's get Marchand in here. Let's get him up. Bring him up, the catcher. Andrew Knapp is god awful. He's batting like 150 or something.
The problem with Knapp is that he's arguably he's technically a better receiver than Marchand is.
Is that right?
And the pitchers,
because he looked bad last night behind the plate.
Well,
couldn't throw anybody out.
You got to go based what your pitchers want. The pitchers are okay with Knapp, and Girardi, as a former catcher, has to listen to his pitchers.
I hear you.
But Girardi listening to his pitchers, to me, is what got him in trouble last night, because I think that he trusted his guys too much. I think Girardi leaned on his guys too much.
Well, listen, as a former player and a manager, he had to go with his gut. And guess what, Josh? I have no problem with him keeping Nola in. Nola was still, his velocity was up. He was hitting his spots. Brad Miller made the error that gave up the first run. I mean, so, you can hang it on him if you want. But, just the way they lost that game, Nola was pitching such a gem last night. And for them to lose that game was it was heartbreaking, man. And I just think that this, I don't want to say I'm putting the final nail in the coffin, but I'll tell you what, looking at their schedule, they needed to make a move. They needed that win last night. When you get a pitching performance like that from Aaron Nola, you got to win the game, Josh.
You got to win the game, but you also got to manage the game better.
So you blame this on Girardi?
I think Girardi deserves some blame because of the fact that I felt like once the no-hitter was done, you could tell that he wasn't the same pitcher.
See, I disagree. I don't think he was concerned with the no-hitter. I think when he trotted him. By the way, it's good that he kept Aaron Nola in the game because he let off the next inning and got a double.
Well, I wouldn't take him out then. I'm talking about when he lost the no-hitter. Like when he gave up the first hit and the guys were getting on base at that point. That's when I'm Girardi. I'm looking at him more critically. Like, you can't pull a guy when he's going after with a no-hitter. Right. But once he gives the no-hitter, then you guys start counting the pitches differently. Then you guys are gauging the pitcher differently. And I felt like in the 9th inning, they should have pulled him sooner. They should have never let it get to the point where
he wanted him to pitch a complete game. He wanted to save his bullpen.
Well, Bill, I want $1 million.
Well, but the bullpen was the bullpen. But Josh, the bullpen had been used and extensively used the night before.
Well, that's not you can't potentially lose a game because you're afraid to put in the bullpen. You know what I mean? By
the way, you're putting a lot of effort in. You're overextended. And I appreciate that the fact that you came in an emergency situation.
Yeah, well, unlike Nola, I would tell the manager if I know I don't have it
Except
anymore.
For there's you had to come in.
Listen,
the show wouldn't be on if you didn't come in.
Listen, I told you yesterday. I said, listen, this is what I need from you, and you're like, I got you. Nola should have told Girardi, but listen, man, you want to keep me in this game? I'm letting you know where I'm at right now. But he didn't do that. Hell, come on.
All right, so we'll talk extensively about the Philadelphia Phillies. I want to turn our attention to football right now.
Football.
By the way, we got a great guest, Merle Reese. I love his voice. Touchdown!
Legend.
Yeah, he's the legendary radio voice of the Philadelphia Eagles. Merrill Reese will be joining us, and I'm super excited. I love his voice. I love the way he calls the game. And you know what? He tells it like it is too. He doesn't sugarcoat stuff. When things are going wrong, Mike and Merle, they tell you like it is.
It was so funny because on Thursday night, because I was here when the game was on. When the game is on the radio and I'm in the studio, I leave the radio on. So then if I need to look at the TV, I look up, kind of thing. And then I rewatch the game later when I get home. That's what I do for the Eagles preseason. And Merrill on Thursday night was saying, "Can this game be over yet?"
That's
even,
basically the tone of his voice, and
even
say so many words.
Yeah, even he was, because at the end of the third quarter, he's like, "All right, well, at least that's over." Now we go to the fourth quarter. I'm just like, I feel you, Merrill. I feel you, man.
And you know what? Did you, by the way, so you watched the game the first time and then you rewatch it. Is there anything that you saw that we'll get into that you want to talk about when you see it the second and third time around that stuck in your mind? Because I saw the whole game in its entirety, and then I caught a little bit I think yesterday when I got home from the show that was on right before I went back to work, and I did see a few replays. I didn't see anything that stood out that really, one way or the other, would change my opinion about everybody except for Singleton.
Well, I was going to say, I think that when you rewatch the game and you watch it more critically the second time as well, you realize how much better the linebackers were when you first saw them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
you realize how much they're flying around. And listen, I understand that they had people forget that. I don't know why they did it this way, but they had almost no starters on the D line on Thursday night.
That's right.
Fletcher Cox was in street clothes. Brandon Graham was in street clothes. Barnett was not playing because he had some sort of shoulder situation. They held out pretty much everybody. So the linebackers were behind the second unit at that point. So they were having to work double overtime to get tackles, make plays. And I thought that they did an exceptional job. And I'm excited, Bill, because this might be the best group of linebackers the Eagles have had in maybe a decade.
Since maybe Trotter and company.
I mean, I can't think of a more recent group. You know what I mean? Because the problem is that
when they won the Super Bowl, the line, it was more the defensive line.
That was the defensive line.
Yeah.
And remember, Jordan Hicks was injured.
Right.
So you were down to basically just Bradham and Camus Hill.
Oh my gosh. How did they win the Super Bowl with those guys?
Because the defensive line was that good, man.
That good, yeah.
Yeah. So this year, I'm looking at these linebackers and I'm like, I can't remember a time that we had linebackers I actually could rely on to tackle people, get down in and down out.
No, Josh, Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator, it's his first time as a defensive coordinator. Do you think the decision not to play these guys comes from the top, comes from Zariani, or higher up? Or does it start with the defensive coordinator?
I think it starts with Sirianni.
Okay.
Because it's becoming...
Do you think he's told from the top?
No. I think the idea that Sirianni's a puppet of Roseman and Laurie's a little overhyped because of the fact that I think people tend to look at younger men in a very negative way. We live in a society now that is prejudiced against age, economic income, what you wear, what you look like, your race, your everything. And I think there's a strong ageism in society where people assume he's a younger guy, he's a puppet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas an older guy, he's his own man. Well, I think that's very unfair to do this.
Well, the amount of dysfunction that came out of the Eagles last year won't just go away with a new coaching staff.
No,
and I think that
it won't.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think the leopard changes spots. Now we're going to see, obviously, and winning cures all. But if the Eagles, they got waxed by the Patriots in the preseason, which once again will make it clear that it's the preseason and you don't get too worried about certain things, especially the score. But if they continue this pattern with the Jets, the Jets, they're with their new quarterback,
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, who played well last night.
Yeah, it's hard to judge a preseason.
Right, but I'm just saying he looked pretty good.
Like I was talking with Jeff Kerr about this on Friday from CBS Sports. How am I supposed to judge the Patriots quarterbacks competition when both Cam and Mac Jones on Thursday night were going against the Eagles' second and third string guys?
Right.
Like I'm oh, look, you went 7 for 10. Okay.
Well, but the reason why I said that is because the Eagles are going up to New York. They're going up to practice Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then they scrimmage Friday. And my point being is, if the Eagles go up there and they have a bad showing in their last preseason game,
I'm concerned.
Then I'm going to start to get concerned.
I agree with that. I think that's fair.
By the way, we're streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Check us out there. Josh, you don't look too tired for working like 14 days in a row.
Well, it helps. I got home earlier last night because on Friday night, I get home really late.
Right.
So I was able to get home earlier last night than I would on a Friday night. So it helps a little bit to get a little extra rest. I've had at least 1 cup of coffee. I'm going to need 1 more before this show is done.
All right. So we have a rested Josh Henning. We have the locker room with Billy Schweim here on Sunday morning. We're going to talk Eagles and Phillies today, of course, and I think we're going to talk a little bit about the fantasy football league that I drafted last night, about my team.
Your team.
That? And I want we're going to go up and down my lineup. I gave you a little preview before we got on the air. We're going to go over my picks, but I'm excited. We're going to be in our fantasy football league, right, Josh?
Yeah, I'm working on that this week. This is going to be the week I figure all that out.
So we got Eagles, Phillies. We have Merrill Reese. You have the locker room with you on Sunday morning, powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, for the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more Eagles talk. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles finish the 2021 preseason this Friday night against the New York Jets.
Takes the snap. Here comes the rush. Let's go. Complete into the end zone. Touchdown, Zach Hurts.
Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 7:30. This is where the Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Ocean City's real estate market is red hot. You need an agent that has the knowledge and expertise to help. Contact Ocean City's top agent, Mark Rhymes. Mark has been selling real estate for 30 years in South Jersey. He can answer all your real estate questions and find you the perfect property. He's available anytime on his cell at 609-425-2042. When Philadelphia star athletes are looking for a house at the beach, they contact Mark Rhymes, specializing in buying and selling vacation homes, single-family homes, condominiums, and duplexes, residential and commercial, as well as new construction projects or investment opportunities. Mark Rhymes, he's your agent at the beach. Give him a call right now, 609-425-2042, or check out his website at grimes.com. Finding an electrician that is dependable, prompt, and experienced is important. Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Service is just that. Service in Atlantic and Cape May counties for 40 years, Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services specializes in both commercial and residential work and provides 24-hour emergency services. No job too big and no job too small. Call Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services. They do it all. Call for a free estimate, 609-399-1999.
Call Tom Jackson and Sons for electrical, they're number one.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schweim, Josh Henning in the studio today with me. By the way, we're going to have to cancel our golf tournament at the Great Bay Country Club on Wednesday because Craig Berube called me and he said that he won't be able to make it on Wednesday. So we're going to have to reschedule. And I don't know if, I don't know what Pete's schedule is, but we'll let everybody know so people can start picking sides. It will be me against Pete Thompson, Scotty McKay, and Craig Berube. We're just trying to find a day that works for all four of us. And we had a tee time for Wednesday, but I'm going to have to call Radio Ron Ralston and reschedule that. And Josh, who do Pete Thompson, he wants to do this tournament, and then he asked for strokes.
Well, as long as
What's up with that?
As long as our golf strokes are not the other kind of stroke.
No, but when you play head to head, you don't take strokes in a tournament. Like if there's something on the line, and then you know what? How smart he is. He goes out, he shoots a 98, and then he tells me about it.
I would say that you, if you and Pete are going out, it should be evens.
It should be even, Steven. Exactly.
Yeah. That's my opinion, but I'm not the golf expert.
I've been going back and forth with the chief, and he's in St. Louis, and he's going to be back, but he might not be back until late on Wednesday. So Thursday doesn't work for us, and Pete starts school soon, so we're going to have to reschedule this match. But we'll keep everybody up to date and be able to pick the winner. Scotty McKay's he shoots in the high 70s.
Now it's supposed to be Scooter and Pete together.
We're going to do it two ways. We're going to do. It's going to be me and Pete head to head, and then whoever my partner is, I think hopefully it's going to be Chief, and against Scotty McKay, because those guys are about the same. We're going to do individual score and then combined score. Okay. So there are going to be two ways you can
two ways to measure it.
Right, two ways to measure.
Now, which would you give more weight to, the combined score or the individual score?
Well, because Pete actually challenged me to this. So I think Pete golfs more than I do. I've only been out maybe 4 or 5 times all year. And while I hit around 100, there are times where I blow up to 106, 107. Pete says he always hits around 107, 110. And then the other day he shoots a 98.
So let me get this straight. The golf tournament was Pete's idea.
Yes, he wanted to. It was basically both of them. He brought it up, yes.
The reason I'm asking is because the last time I don't claim to be an expert on duels, but the last time I remember from my American history class,
it's not Hamilton versus Aaron Burr in a duel.
From what I understand was the person who challenges cannot set the rules of the duel.
Right. All right. That sounds right.
So if I remember correctly, the idea is that someone challenges you, right, and then the other person says, "What's the
parameters?
What's the parameters?" Right. So to me, if Pete challenged you, then what should happen is that you should be able to pick the rules of the scoring.
It wasn't so much of a challenge as more like, we should play each other. I asked him what he shoots. I told him what I shoot. And he goes, well, we should play each other at the Great Bay. It was more like something like that. It wasn't like I challenge you. I can beat you type thing. Because that's not Pete's personality.
Right. Pete's not that kind of person.
No.
Correct.
But I said, all right, you think you can beat me? And then he goes, yeah, give me a stroke. He wanted a stroke on the first hole, on the first 9, and then the back 9. He wanted a stroke. And I said, Pete, no, I'm not giving you a stroke. And then he goes out and shoots a 98, breaks 100 for the first time in his life. And he tells me about it.
Here we go. Rule 16 of the duel,
okay, or
known as the Code Duello. The challenged has the right to choose his own weapon.
Wow.
Unless the challenger gives his honor, he is no swordsman. After which he can decline any second species of weapon proposed by the challenged. So technically, you, as the challenged, can choose
your weapon.
Which in this case would be the score that would win the match.
Oh, that's too funny, Josh. Would you get that off Google, huh?
Well, I had to do a little research, but apparently somebody decided to publish. Apparently, there's 25 rules under the Code Duello from the classic of the Codes of Dueling.
Speaking of dueling,
it's from a book.
Speaking of dueling,
it's an American book called American Duels and Hostile Encounters: A History.
Wow.
Published in 1963.
Wow, Josh, there you go. Speaking of dueling, how about Marcus Hayes in the Philadelphia Daily News and the Inquirer? 2 days in a row, big articles going to propose bringing Nick Foles back into the nest, the bird's nest, and saying that you need to get both Flacco and Foles in here. Foles makes $4 million this season. Flacco makes 3.5. He says 7.5 million isn't a lot of money for 2 backup quarterbacks.
In the grand scheme of things, no. But considering the Eagles already before Flacco had spent almost $30 million on backups for Carson Wentz over the years,
right,
and the Eagles' desire to try to spend money with other positions, I don't think the backup quarterback's the problem.
I know why. Why does it seem like in Philadelphia we always have a controversy about our backups?
Because at the end of the day, we're always looking for the grass on the other side of the fence. The grass is always greener. It's not the person we have is never good enough. The girl you're dating isn't is not as pretty as the girl across the bar. Right. Whatever the attitude is, whatever you have isn't good enough. And I think
is that a problem just with Philadelphia and the media? Obviously, the media is a conduit to the fans, but sometimes, I don't know if the Philadelphia fans are shouting off the highest mountaintop for Nick Foles. It's more like the media pushing this.
I feel like the Nick Foles thing has faded a little bit. Like Dave Weinberg and I talked about this
2 days in a row in the Daily News and the Philadelphia Inquirer, Josh.
Dave Weinberg and I talked about this on my show on Game Night, and he said, look, months ago, he said he would have brought Nick Foles in, but now that we're already in camp, you know what I mean? It's already August 22nd. We're a couple weeks away from the start of the season.
Right.
You don't bring in Foles now.
Well, he'd be better than Nick Mullins.
True, but Nick Mullins is probably not even going to make the roster. You're probably only going to go with 2 quarterbacks.
They're only going to go with 2 quarterbacks on the roster?
Now, listen, somebody texted me, I think it was Friday. They had a theory that we should bring in Josh Rosen, the former first-round pick.
Right.
And what I said is, well, if you're going to do that, you cut Nick Mullins. You go to Rosen, because Nick Mullins has looked the same.
Can't you keep him on the practice squad?
You're on practice squads yet.
Right.
So what you do is I say cut Nick Mullins, bring in Rosen and say, look, This is an audition for our practice squad.
Right.
Go out there, play the entire second half versus the Jets. Jalen Hurts will play quarter one. Flacco plays quarter two. Rosen goes out there, auditions for the practice squad. And then you have a quarterback on the practice squad. Because I think Nick Mullins' arm is shot.
By the way, Josh Rosen, he played at UCLA, correct?
That is correct.
I watched several of his games, and I liked him. I thought he was I don't know why he hasn't stuck.
Well, he hasn't stuck because he ended up in two unwinnable situations. Arizona was an abomination before they hired Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury didn't want Rosen.
Right.
He wanted Kyler Murray, and then they traded into Miami, and that was Miami before they got Brian Flores, and that was an abomination situation as well. So Rosen just ended up in two very bad situations. I don't know if it's hard for me to judge him if your environment is garbage.
I hear, and I listen. I think Jalen Rosen. We'll get into more of the quarterback discussion on the other side when we talk to Merle Reese. But I like Jalen Hurts moving forward, and let's just see what we have with him. All right, the first hour of the locker was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From shore to center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. All right, when we return, we'll talk with the radio voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
South Jersey's sports station, 97.3 ESPN. Wake up weekday morning 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Followed by Greeny with Mike Greenberg from 10 till noon. At noon, it's Bart and Hahn. Then from 2 to 6 p.m., it's South Jersey's #1 rated sports talk show, The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. And from 6 to 7, Josh Hennig hosts Game Night. Plus, 97.3 ESPN is your exclusive play-by-play home for Philadelphia Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers, the NBA playoffs and finals, Major League Baseball, and the World Series, the NFL Draft, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday Night Football, the NFL playoffs, and Super Bowl 56. We are South Jersey's sports leader. 97.3 ESPN, and listen anywhere with the free mobile app.
Train presents The Unstoppables. Those captains of comfort, those gargantuans of the guarantee, those satisfaction savants who persevere perilously beyond probability as the raconteurs of reliability. Here's to Train's heralded heroes of heating and air conditioning, those comfort kings with a tireless tenacity for total turnaround. The Train Comfort Specialists. Just one more reason why it's hard to stop a train.
Hi, this is Joe Lenigan, owner of Lenigan Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call us today for your free Train system quote at 609-399-1200 or online at ocnjplumber.com. And please don't forget to ask for the military and senior discount.
Calling again and again. Calling again and again.
Hi, this is Lou Capelli, Camden County Commissioner Director, reminding everyone to get vaccinated to help protect yourself, your family, and neighbors. The vaccine has proven to be safe, effective, and can stop the spread of COVID-19. We are providing free vaccine to all residents that want it and bringing it into the community. As things open up throughout our region, your vaccine shot, along with wearing a mask and social distancing, will get us to a post-pandemic world. For updated information on COVID-19 and vaccination efforts, visit CamdenCounty.com. We're all in this together. Let's play our part to stay safe and healthy this summer.
CleanRental.com, a fresh approach to uniforms, your uniform supplier. If you're a business owner, CleanRental.com asks you the following questions. 1. Are you completely satisfied with the quality of the uniform rental program you are currently receiving? 2. Are you completely satisfied with the service you are receiving from your present uniform rental company? And 3. Have you had an experience in the last 6 months where the response time to any request has been less than satisfactory? If your company with 50 employees or more. Please give cleanrental.com a call at 1-800-825-3266. That's 1-800-825-3266. Cleanrental.com, a fresh approach to uniforms. Give them a call today.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app. Josh, I'm super excited to have our first guest, the longest tenured broadcaster in Philadelphia now. So let's go to the Barb's Harley-Davidson Sports Hotline and welcome in the legendary radio voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese. Good morning, Merrill.
Morning, how are you?
Merrill, we are excited for Eagles football. Of course, we can hear you and Mike on the call right here on 97.3 ESPN, but we're happy to have football back and to listen to you.
Well, I'm excited about football, too. I'm not pleased with what we saw the other night, but that's another story.
Merrill, you've been around, I guess you start your 44th year this year in the booth?
45th.
45th year in the booth. You've seen a lot of coaching staffs, a lot of different personalities. You're down there at practice. You're close to the team. Talk to us a little bit about Nick Sirianni and the new coaching staff. Your thoughts on them. Go.
Well, I think they're very bright. I think they're very enthusiastic. They are inspirational. It's a good staff. It's a very, very good staff. It's a bright young staff, a lot of new ideas. I have confidence that Nick Sirianni is going to do a good job. And I think that Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator, is another guy with a lot of good ideas. So I think the coaching staff is good. You have experience on there too. You have Jeff Stoutland, one of the best offensive line coaches in football, who has been with the Eagles since 2013. So it's a good staff from top to bottom. You have Brian Johnson, who was the offensive coordinator at Florida last year, and somebody who has known Jalen Hurts since he was 4 years old. So I think the staff of this team is very, very solid.
Merle, I've had several former Eagles on this program, from head coach Dick Vermeil to Ken Dunnick. We've had Harold Carmichael, John Bunning, Bill Berge over the course of time, and they all talk about the practices in the preseason, how it's changed so much. Dick Vermeil's practice used to be three a days and banging each other. Today's football is a lot different. Do you think it's help football or hurt football that the practices in the preseason aren't as tough?
Well, I mean, you have to realize that when Dick Vermeil had those 2-a-days, I don't remember ever having a 3-a-day, but when he had those 2-a-days, but they were 2-a-days with pads, he had 120 people in camp. Now they are limited at the very beginning to 90. So that's 30 less. So you have to be a lot more careful with what you do. They do not tackle at camp. And maybe that's because they don't need the extra injuries. My problem is I don't like the way they use the preseason games. I feel the regulars need more work in the preseason games to get ready for the September 12th opener against Atlanta. I don't like the fact that, and this is not a criticism of the coach, this is just my opinion. I think that Jalen Hurts, I felt going into the preseason that he needed 5 quarters of work in these preseason games. I would have given him a half in the first game. Of course, in the second game, he got sick, so you can't, I don't know what they would have done. And then coming up in this Jets game this week, I believe he needs at least a quarter. And if you don't feel that he's comfortable and ready, let him go into the second quarter. And if he has to play a half, he plays a half. I saw Patrick Mahomes, an elite veteran, play almost a half the other night. Kyler Murray played. Roethlisberger played. Jalen Hurts has only had 4 starts in his entire career. I think he's bright. I think he's talented. But they talk about the fact that they're having these combined drills. Last week they did with the Patriots, this week with the Jets. I think they're great, but they're not games. Only games are games.
We're talking with Merrill Reese, legendary radio voice of the Philadelphia Eagles. Merrill, you took the thoughts right out of my head. I did watch that game the other night with Andy Reid's Chiefs against Mahomes against Murray, and you're right. The offensive line, the first offensive unit, played most of the first half, and I think
they did. And you know what? Mahomes didn't look very good. Mahomes was off target. He ran a little, threw a bad interception, which just tells you that even the best quarterbacks need to get the kinks out during the preseason.
Merle, talk about Jalen Hurts, if you will, a little bit. You've seen a lot of quarterbacks come and go. You can see their demeanor. I know you probably watch everything, from the way they interact with their teammates, the way they handle the media, the way they talk to you. How do you view Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback? By the way, I don't think he's been named the starting quarterback yet, but he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah, it's an interesting question that you ask. I've got to be honest with you. I've never met Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
Because of the COVID restrictions. Last year he was a rookie, and we were never on site. We were on the sidelines for the preseason workouts, but we were never allowed into the locker room. We never had any one-on-ones. And as we sit here, I still have never had one personal word to Jalen Hurts. I've watched him every day at training camp. I've gotten to see the way the team reacts around him, and everything I've heard is positive. But from last year's rookie class on, and not just me, but every member of the media, none of us have met these players in a one-on-one situation.
Wow, and I think
we've done a lot of Zoom. We've done a lot of virtual press conferences and that kind of thing, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. And I know, and speaking of the preseason, last year we didn't have a preseason, and you saw the effects on the team. There was a lot of injuries. Obviously, we know about the situation with Carson Wentz and his lackluster performance last year. I think the preseason is very important. I think it's a shame that you can't interact with the players, though.
Well, there are reasons for that, and that's, even though I've been vaccinated and most of them have been vaccinated, they are keeping everybody at arm's length.
Merle, how hard was it for you to call the games with hardly anybody in the stands last year?
Not hard, because we were in a situation where we had a good vantage point, and they were piping crowd noise into our headset. So it gave you the feeling. Now, and then they did open it up to a limited amount of people, but it's not the same. But the degree of difficulty didn't become greater. And then the road games, we didn't travel, but we had 6 different screens to work off of. So it was unusual, but as a professional, you learn to adapt.
Hey, Merrill, it's Josh. I wanted to ask you about the rookie wide receiver, Devonta Smith. You get to spend each and every Sunday with Mike Quick next to you, one of the greatest Eagles receivers of all time. So when you're watching Devonta Smith, what have you seen from him? What has Mike Quick said to you that stands out to you about the rookie wide receiver?
Well, we're both wowed by him. I watched him throughout Alabama, and I used to say, boy, wouldn't it be amazing if somehow the Eagles could get him? But I never thought that was possible. But I think he's going to be a great player. I really do. He just got his feet wet the other night on a few plays, actually most of the half, but he didn't have that many balls thrown to him. Give him a little time, but he's going to be a great player. There's no doubt about it. He's got speed. He's got leaping ability. He may be 6 feet and a half inch, but he has the wingspan and the catch radius of somebody 6'4". He's going to be a star in this league. There's no doubt about that. And Mike believes that very strongly, and so do I.
We're talking with the radio voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese. Of course, you can hear Merrill and Mike's call on the Eagles broadcast right here on 97.3 ESPN. Merrill, looking at this team as a whole, what aspect of the team, what positions were you most concerned about going in, and have they addressed that so far this year in the preseason?
Well, I think they have, in the sense that I thought one of the areas that you had to bolster was corner. And they brought in Steve Nelson to be the other corner with Darius Slay, and he looks very good. And they have a rookie that they drafted, Zach McPherson, out of Texas Tech, who had played some at Penn State, who looks promising. And Avonte Maddox can move into the slot where he is more natural. So that was one area that concern me. I'm still concerned somewhat about the depth on the offensive line. I like the fact that Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks and Jason Kelsey and Isaac Siamalo and Jordan Mailata are there right now. They're ready to go. But that's one unit. Behind that, you have a little bit of depth, but those guys, to be the team you want to be, that starting group has to be healthy.
Merle, the NFC East last year wasn't a particularly competitive division in football. Do you see an improvement in the division, or you think whoever wins the East is going to win it with, say, like 8-9 record or 9-8 record?
I don't know. I don't know. It's impossible to tell. We only see the Eagles, and we don't even know about that right now based on what we see. Some people like the Giants, but the Giants, the Washington football team that can't even figure out how to have a nickname, and the Dallas team, they all have their problems. They all have their question marks. Dak Prescott, who was hurt most of last year, has a shoulder issue right now. So I don't know. It's so difficult to tell at this point. I was calling them the NFC least last year, and that's what they were. And going in, I still think they're probably the weakest division in the NFL. And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Eagles could be competitive in the division throughout the season. So we'll wait and see whether that means 9 wins or 8 wins or 7 wins. Who knows? Well, we'll know better by the end of September.
And you look at the NL East in Major League Baseball. The NL East going into the season was supposed to be one of the toughest divisions in baseball. Look how that turned out.
Well, don't get me started on that. From that Phillies loss in the 9th inning last night.
Watch the whole game, Merle. Talk about a devastating loss. I feel bad for Aaron Nola. He pitched such a gem, all the way to the 9th inning.
Yeah, but that's like saying the operation was a success, but the patient died.
Well, Merle, I got to tell you, I just listening to your voice, hearing your voice over the airwaves, warms our heart. We get really excited for football. We look forward for your 45th year calling the Eagles right here on 97.3 ESPN. Merle, thanks so much for taking time on Sunday morning to talk with us.
Thank you. It's nice speaking with you guys.
All right, there he is, the legendary radio voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merle Reese, joining us. Of course, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call our good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Before I read this next ad, I want to send our prayers and condolences to our good friend Ken Dunnick, whose mother passed away, and we want to just extend our prayers and best well wishes to the family, and let them know that we're thinking about them. But just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia, South Jersey to attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see if it's fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up the first hour. You listen to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Josh Henning on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
The Eagles are back, and the Sports Bash has them covered like nobody else in South Jersey. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Listen for training camp updates every weekday at 4 p.m. during Football at 4 with Jeff Mosier, Adam Kaplan, and Andrew DeCecco. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:30. It's 97.3 ESPN.com Eagles insider Jeff Kerr and NFL insider Rob Motti from the Associated Press joins the show every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30. It's the best Eagles and NFL training camp coverage around, and it's only on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Touchdown! The Eagles win! The Eagles win!
On 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's exclusive radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football.
Hi, I'm Daniel Baldwin, and I'd like you to do something for me right now. That's right, right now. I want you to go to bioblasting.com. That's BIOBLASTING.com. Right now. Just go to bioblasting.com or call them at 833-BIO-BLAST. Use promo code ESPN to get 20% off your order. Bioblasting, located in Egg Harbor Township. People, pet, and planet friendly.
The Point is your destination for a tropical oasis at the Jersey Shore. Now with 2 locations on Bay Avenue in Somers Point and their new location at 43rd Street off the boardwalk in Sea Isle City. The Point has the best food and drink specials with their famous Tiki Bar, offering a waterfront view of the bay in Somers Point and the ocean in Sea Isle. Plus, live music is featured 7 days a week at both The Point locations. For more information, check out The Point on Facebook and visit them online at dothepoint.com.
Do you want to get in shape and feel great and look better on the beach? At Local Gym and Fitness, located at 908 Asbury Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey, you can accomplish your goal. 4 local guys with a passion and experience in fitness wanted to open a gym that delivers a quality, hospitable, clean, and friendly environment. Local Gym and Fitness is well stocked with 4 fully loaded Olympic and CrossFit platforms, Jacob's ladders, Stairmasters, bikes, and ergs. Local Gym and Fitness provides quality trainers to lend their expertise with all your training needs. They're open 7 days a week. Memberships are affordable, so be a local at Local Gym and Fitness. Call them today at 609-545-8732 or go online at localgymandfitness.com. I'll see you there.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people, and now I'm making the best app. The Caesar Sportsbook app got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesar rewards. Caesar salad ain't got nothing on my app. Nothing!
You must be 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim. Josh, you all right over there? A little tired?
Listen, man, I gotta be better prepared for the YouTube ads. Some of them are longer than others. So
we're broadcasting live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Check us out there. Hey, how about what Merle Reese just said? He's never met Jalen Hurts.
That's wild, isn't it?
I mean, come on, are you kidding me? How do you not meet the quarterback of the team?
Listen, man, I think there's something to be said for the fact that when you have an athlete who is going to be the face of your franchise, you might want to make an exception for the broadcaster of the team to at least maybe have a conversation.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I couldn't believe he just told us that he's never met Jalen Hurts.
The dude is the face of the franchise, Bill.
And you know what? I gotta think that the fact that these players now are insulated from the media, they only have to talk on Zoom. There's no personal contact. I think it's insulating these players from the media / fans, where they don't necessarily have to face the tough questions. Like, you can see somebody's body language. like, how many times you'd see a reporter going into the locker room and going up to the person that made a bad play or was horrible, and then the player reacts, says something stupid or walks away or won't talk, like the microphones are in his face. You can get to see what type of person you're dealing with. And you don't have that now. There's no accountability.
Yeah, they need to get back to some normalcy. I mean, we have some normalcy right now with baseball, and I think baseball has proven that you can have the reporters around the players. The NBA, they weren't allowed in the locker room, but every player came to the post-game press conferences, right? Yeah. They still had that visual contact. And listen, you're having press conferences, throughout training camp. Guys come to the podium and they talk to him. So you can find a way. I mean, how many interviews have we seen?
But all these
that they're
guys
finding a way to get these guys to talk to people.
Josh, if you go apply for a media credential with the Eagles, you have to be vaccinated.
Well, listen, that's the NFL rules.
Right. But I'm just saying, it says it right there, in big bold letters. It says you must show proof of vaccination to get your media credential.
And guess what? Merrill says that he's vaccinated. So if he's vaccinated,
why can't he be around the?
I think I tend to agree with what J.C. Treader said. He's the head of the NFL Players Association. They are not happy with these protocols right now because there's too many inconsistencies. J.C. Treader is very concerned about the fact that there's not consistent rules with these protocols.
That's throughout the whole society now.
Well, the NFL is a reactionary league anyway,
and it's a microcosm of what the whole country's dealing with.
And the problem is that the NFL reacts and they're not proactive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is where I have to give a sport like the NBA and the UFC credit. They were proactive all along. They were saying, all right, how can we get the media with these players, right? How can we get the athletes back on the court and playing and fighting and everything? And I feel like the NFL has been behind the ball the whole time. You're telling me that I got through an NBA playoffs where every single star player had to sit down with a media member in a room with cameras, not on a Zoom, but Merrill Reese in his 45th year can't talk to Jalen Hurts
and has never met him in 2 years that he's been on the team.
It's just ridiculous.
I'm sure if we asked him about other players, he would say the same thing. I mean, he's obviously knows Lane Johnson because he's been here a long time.
Well, I mean,
second and third year players, he might not even know.
I mean, no offense to Merrill, but when he gave you that answer, I feel like that almost like derailed you for a few seconds.
I was taken back from that. I didn't know what to say. My reaction was exactly what you just said. I was like, I was shocked because I think that's a very, very important component of NFL. Part of the show is getting to know the players, the reporters having close contact and being able to, extrapolate on what type of person they are or what type of player they are.
Yeah, and listen, if other sports can do it, I don't know why the NFL can't. And I think that's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is that how is it that I can see Malika Andrews sitting with Giannis in a small room for an interview, but Merrill Reese can't go say hello to Jalen Hurts on the sideline before a game?
You've also seen reporters social distancing. They're still there on the court or on the baseball diamond on the field talking to them. They have a microphone and they're 6 feet away.
But they're still in range of them.
They're still in range, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I'm still seeing people near each other.
Like I'm about 6 feet away from you.
Right. Although we don't really need to have social distancing in here, but the point is that it's a little jarring when Merrill said that.
Really? That's just amazing. By the way, let's get this out of here. Hey, Mike Gill's team won the Babe Ruth 16-year-old or 13-year-old World Series championship last night.
Yes, they did, and that's a very cool thing.
10-7.
I know Mike messaged me and told me that he didn't believe that it was real. Honestly,
they won the World Series.
Mike, for those
incredible accomplishment.
Mike puts an inordinate amount of his personal time into these teams each year for these kids, and it's a great moment for the kids because they're gonna remember the rest of their lives, but it's also validating for Mike to be able to say, listen, I poured so much of my own personal energy into this, and these kids benefited from something that I gave to them.
Not only that, it's a memory that'll last a lifetime. I know from experience, when I played Babe Ruth baseball, we had an all-star team that went all the way to the regions, and we lost in the last game. But Josh, all those players, we still have that bond. It's something they'll never forget.
No, they won't. And I think that it's just so cool that happened because, I remember when Colin Thompson came on with you a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he said that we didn't expect to get this far, but here we are. And we're going to keep playing hard.
Congratulations to the A-Shore 13-year-old Babe Ruth World Series champions. Mike Gill's the manager. All right, hour 1 is in the book. Hour 2, we're going to continue with our little bit more Eagles talk. We'll get into the Phillies. Also, I want to talk about my fantasy football team. We had my draft last night, one of the leagues. And, of course, Josh Henning's going to be running the ESPN League. We'll tell you all about it and more when we continue here in the locker room, the Sunday morning edition of the locker room with Billy Schweim, Josh Henning, right here on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Finding an electrician that is dependable, prompt, and experienced is important. Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Service is just that. Service in Atlantic and Cape May counties for 40 years, Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services specializes in both commercial and residential work and provides 24-hour emergency services. No job too big and no job too small. Call Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services. They do it all. Call for a free estimate, 609-399-1999.
Call Tom Jackson and Sons for electrical, they're number one.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstar batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
In my life, I've learned an important lesson. My age doesn't define who I am. I do.
Comfort Keepers believes in the power of joy and purpose at any age.
In my life, there is a Comfort Keeper.
Comfort Keepers.
We are back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app on a Sunday morning here in South Jersey, talking little Eagles football. By the way, before we get into Eagles football, the Flyers made a signing again yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Travis Sanheim.
They avoided arbitration.
Yes. Sunday, he carries a $4.65 million annual salary.
I got to tell you, Bill, if you asked me right now what team is going to win a championship first, I might say Flyers.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
got to say, I like your buddy Mover Chuck.
Yeah, Trader Chuck.
Trader
Chuck.
Same difference.
Yeah.
The point is I like the fact that he has taken care of business, as the song goes. You know what I mean? Like, he's out there taking care of business every day. And he's not letting anything slip. He's not letting anything slide. I know they took care of Bunneman a few days ago as well.
Yes, that's right.
So, I mean, to me, I compare him to the other three teams, and I feel like the Sixers are still a player away, and I don't think that player is Ben Simmons. I think that the Phillies are about 4 players away.
Yeah, it's just.
And I feel the Eagles are in a complete year of transition. So if there's going to be a team that wins a championship in the next 12 months,
wow, Josh,
I would say the odds should be on the Flyers above the other 3.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you. Now, they've got, with the 7 defensemen, they've got about $25 million that they spent on defensemen.
They better spend money on defensemen. You got a young goaltender back there.
Well, look at the goals against and the goals given up. I mean, their power play was horrible. Their power play defense.
But also,
horrible.
Bill, when you watch the games, the assignment hockey was poor. Guys were not sticking to their assignment. If you are a backpedaler, right?
Right.
You know, and you're backpedaling down the ice. It's the same thing with basketball. If you play pickup basketball, who's got the ball? Who's got the puck? Who's got the left? Who's got the right? Who's covering the back end of the zone? And it was like guys were going back on defense, and they were just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, snap, they scored.
Hank would make the same mistake over and over again.
It's like,
that's why they had to move away from him. They had to get rid of Gostisbehere because he wasn't getting any better. He was stagnating in this defense.
And I love the fact they changed the locker room too, because they didn't have the accountability that they needed last year.
Well, you know what we said in a couple of shows, but we had Chuck Fletcher on.
Yeah.
I believe McKay brought it up, and I agree with him. And even Chuck said it, that they have guys that have worn a letter on their jersey.
Yeah,
all the guys that they brought in have letters on their jersey.
Cam Atkinson, Ristolainen, Ryan Ellis, they all have worn a letter on their jersey. And I think that's huge because they're going to come into this team and they're not going to accept when the guys aren't doing their work anymore. And I think a guy like Ristolainen, for example, I think he's tired of losing. I think a guy like Ryan Ellis, and he's been close to winning a championship, but he didn't get it. Cam Atkinson has made playoff runs, but he hasn't been to a cup. I think you're bringing in 3 guys who are going to be motivated
and are hungry,
and they're not going to settle for random fill in the blank player skating back on defense, missing his assignment, and then skating back to the bench without being criticized.
How about this? Every Saturday night I do a show up on the boardwalk at all campus called the Rant Booth, and we have people come in and talk with me. They get to be on the media outlets that we're on.
Yeah.
And we have obviously Ocean City is a tourist place in the summer. We have people from all over. I had a young guy, a young gentleman. I guess he was in his 20s or early, maybe he's a late teenager, like 19, 20, 21, something like that, from Buffalo. And when I brought up Rutsalainen, he had negative. Well, he didn't like Rutsalainen. He called him a bum. He was happy to see him get out of town. Nothing positive about Rutsalainen. I said to him, you know what? Maybe because the culture of losing has permeated that locker room that nobody tried. You can't get a true read on a guy like Rutsalainen playing for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, listen, I think
a change of address is good for him.
I think it's very good for him. I think also people forget how bad Buffalo was in general. It's a poor organization right now. Nobody wants to be there. The whole organization has a losing culture right now. It's a dumpster fire.
So not only do they have the blue line taken care of, and keep in mind Sam Moran, the 7th defenseman, he's no slouch back there. He's getting healthier, and if he can stay healthy, you've got 7 guys that you can you know what I mean? You have 7 guys on that bench. That's better than they had the last couple of years. Also, Carter Hart is signed. He got an extension. So maybe that might
and it's a deal that if you compare it to the market, it's actually a hometown discount.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think Trader Chuck is doing a great job. Let's hope. But here's the thing, Josh. It's got to translate on the ice.
It's got to translate on the ice, but I think at least you're going in the right direction. I like it when a team doesn't do well and the GM doesn't find excuses to not fix the team. I hate it when it's like, well, we were 2 games back and we don't have to change everything. No. You didn't win. You got to make changes.
Do you think that was Ron Hextall? And by the way, I had another guy pull into the parking lot where I work from Pittsburgh. And even he said it was hard for him to wrap his arms around having Ron Hextall, a hated Flyer, as their general manager.
Yeah,
isn't that something?
It's definitely weird.
Because I feel the same way, don't you?
It's definitely
it's going to be weird having the Pittsburgh Penguins, our dreaded enemy, arch enemy, coming in to the Wells Fargo Center with Ron Hextall at the helm. I mean, that's brutal.
It's so strange.
That's the thing about like modern sports. Back in the day, you had your players that stayed with you for the most of their career.
Well, I mean, he's not playing anymore. It's not
I know, but
Pittsburgh.
Even going to another organization, it's just a tough pill to swallow.
Well,
Ron Hextall,
the guy wants to work. He shouldn't turn on a job.
No, I know, but when he went to Quebec in that trade, that was hard to swallow.
It was, but again, he was traded. He didn't leave in free agency. I tend to hold people in a different sphere if they're traded versus if they're going in free agency. You know what I mean?
By the way, we're sitting here in the studio, and I'm watching the replay of the Phillies the game last night, the highlights on SportsCenter, and this guy Cronenworth, what's his name? Cronenworth makes me sick.
Why? Because he's good.
He put that big thing, the gold chain. You see the chain that
well,
they wear?
That's their home run thing.
I know.
The Phillies have the hat, and the Padres have a chain.
I like that stuff. I think that's fun for baseball.
Baseball needs to be fun. I hate the people who are like, "Oh, what?" No.
Remember the NFL fun. Would be accused of the NFL no fun league.
Yeah, the no fun league.
Now what they're doing? You know what they're doing now?
Penalty when the guy signals he had a first down.
I know what is going on with the NFL. I mean, come on, you can't take the creative. These guys are creative. It makes it fun. It gets the fans, something to talk about. A guy got a flag for giving a peace sign. Yeah. Who was that?
Yeah,
he was running away. He was on it.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, he gets a penalty for that.
That's ridiculous.
By the way, is that on the ensuing kickoff?
No. It's that was.
So he scores a touchdown.
Yeah, he scored a touchdown.
When is that penalty enforced? On the kickoff.
I think it depends on. Doesn't the opposing coach have the choice?
I don't know
where to enforce it.
You have to look into that, Josh.
I gotta look into that.
Do some research.
Well, I don't know if I want to look into it because they might change the rule for the season anyway at this point. The NFL, remember a few years ago the NFL. We had to
talk to John Runyon. We just had him on the show last week.
Remember a few years ago the NFL changed one of their big rules right before the season started with the pass interference. Remember that?
Yeah.
Because people were just lost their minds over it. They suddenly changed the rule they might change this rule too. And by the way, can I just say real quick?
Say whatever you want, Josh.
Troy Vincent should be ashamed of himself.
Why?
Because Troy Vincent's trying to defend this rule. Troy Vincent was a hard-hitting corner who was afraid of no one, who was an ultra competitor. And for him to get up there and say, well, taunting doesn't really have a place in the game. Hey,
wait,
Troy, you're going soft.
Josh, I agree that taunting doesn't have a play.
Not the NFL's definition of it.
But their definition is skewed because giving a peace sign when you're running away from somebody because you made a nice play and you broke free. Is that taunting?
Under the NFL rule, it is.
I know, but they have to modify their rule.
Well, they should have never had this rule in the first place. I think people in the league office were a little too hypersensitive over something stupid because apparently owners like John Mara of the Giants, all right, said that he doesn't like when guys make a big deal about having big plays and it doesn't have a place in the game. So the league probably got pressured by some of the old heads who are these, super sensitive. Oh, my team hasn't won in a while. I'm the Giants. I haven't won in like 6-7 years. So I'm going to change the rule because I don't like it when the Cowboys score on my team.
You know what? Stop them. And then you won't get any taunting.
Maybe Mara and owners like him should worry more about why on earth his team drafted a quarterback because the GM fell in love with him. How about that? Yeah. Remember that? Gettleman said he fell in love
with him.
With Daniel Jones. Maybe Mara should be more concerned about why GMs are falling in love with players that are being objective.
And every time you say Daniel Jones to me, you know what play comes to my mind?
Him falling?
He busts loose. He's running he sees nothing but daylight. Pay dirt's
tripped over air.
He's what was this 50-yard run? At least from midfield? And he gets to the 10-yard line.
10-yard line, trips over his own feet.
A blade of grass.
Yeah.
So
Angels in the red zone to the tackle.
Crazy. All right, the second hour of the locker was brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Great Bay is an extraordinary golf course. It's fun. It's a beautiful course. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, lively atmosphere in the pub. And by the way, their food is excellent. For more information on how to become a member, or if you're looking for a job, I know they're looking for staff in the dining room. Go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for me. They do a great job, Kevin Kelly and the rest of the crew down there at Great Bay. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
South Jersey's sports station, 97.3 ESPN. Wake up weekday mornings 6 to 10 with Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Followed by Greeny with Mike Greenberg from 10 till noon. At noon, it's Bard and Hahn. Then from 2 to 6 p.m., it's South Jersey's #1 rated sports talk show, The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. And from 6 to 7, Josh Hennig hosts Game Night. Plus, 97.3 ESPN is your exclusive play-by-play home for Philadelphia Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers, the NBA playoffs and finals, Major League Baseball, and the World Series, the NFL Draft, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday Night Football, the NFL playoffs, and Super Bowl 56. We are South Jersey's sports leader, 97.3 ESPN, and listen anywhere with the free mobile app.
Ocean City's real estate market is red hot. You need an agent that has the knowledge and expertise to help. Contact Ocean City's top agent, Mark Grimes. Mark has been selling real estate for 30 years in South Jersey. He can answer all your real estate questions and find you the perfect property. He's available anytime on his cell at 609-425-2042. When Philadelphia star athletes are looking for a house at the beach, they contact Mark Grimes, specializing in buying and selling vacation homes, single-family homes, condominiums, and duplexes, residential and commercial, as well as new construction projects or investment opportunities. Mark Grimes, he's your agent at the beach. Give him a call right now, 609-425-2042, or check out his website at grimes.com.
Do you want to get in shape and feel great and look better on the beach? At Local Gym and Fitness, located at 908 Asbury Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey, you can accomplish your goal. 4 local guys with a passion and experience in fitness wanted to open a gym that delivers a quality, hospitable, clean, and friendly environment. Local Gym and Fitness is well-stocked with 4 fully loaded Olympic and CrossFit platforms, Jacob's ladders, Stairmasters, bikes, and ergs. Local Gym and Fitness provides quality trainers to lend their expertise with all your training needs. They're open 7 days a week. Memberships are affordable, so be a local at Local Gym and Fitness. Call them today at 609-545-8732 or go online at localgymandfitness.com. I'll see you there.
Finding an electrician that is dependable, prompt, and experienced is important. Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Service is just that. Service in Atlantic and Cape May counties for 40 years, Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services specializes in both commercial and residential work and provides 24-hour emergency services. No job too big and no job too small. Call Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services. They do it all. Call for a free estimate, 609-399-1999.
Call Tom Jackson and Sons for electrical, they're #1.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
We're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. Sunday morning edition.
Sunday.
Josh Henning in the house. Josh, you awake? You all right?
I'm getting through, man. My coffee's in the maker right now. So.
Josh, what do you work, 8 days a week?
If there was 8 days.
Is there a song 8 days a week?
Is there?
The Beatles, 8 days a week.
See, now this is the problem. Pete Thompson's not here. He could answer that question because he's an expert on stuff like that.
It is the Beatles.
That wasn't my music repertoire. If you're going back to the 60s and 70s, I'm a Motown guy. I'm a Huff and Gamble sound
You're
guy.
a Motown guy?
Motown, Huff and Gamble, Philly sound.
Wow, all right.
Give me some Temptations, some OJs, some Delphonics.
Wow, Delphonics.
Harold Melvin, the Blue Notes, Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergast.
When I taught history, I did a segment on music of the decades. We did the 60s. How music inspired a whole generation for all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not.
And the music.
I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the modern music. This is where I become a get off my lawn guy.
But the music reflected the time.
This is where the little gray that's in my hair right now is coming through. I can't do the modern music very much.
Yeah, I'm not into the. I listen to the 80s. I'm a big 80s guy.
I know you are. The 80s are not really as much my thing.
But why not? The 80s were. The 80s were great.
Yeah, I'm more of a 60s, 70s.
I like this. Listen, if you think about it, I grew up. My school years were all through the 70s, right? I graduated in 1980, so my whole schooling was. I went to school. My senior year starts September of 79.
Yeah,
and you graduate in 80. So all of my schooling was in the late 60s and early 70s. So that music, obviously, I liked growing up, but the 80s is my favorite.
Yeah, for me, I grew up where basically everything that I listened to for a portion of my formative years was either gospel music, classical music, or Motown oldies music. That was the only stuff we listened to.
And like I said, the 60s music reflected the times. A lot of songs had to do with what was going on in the world.
Sure. Well, I forgot to mention one of my favorites is James Brown. Ow! The Godfather of Soul.
All right. Josh, I did my one of my fantasy drafts last night.
All right.
And let's go over my team, and I want to get your
now really quick. This is not the team that you're doing for 97.3.
No.
This is a separate league.
I'm actually going to be in 3 leagues this year.
Wow, look at you.
Last year I was in 2. This year I'm in 3.
So you're moving up in the world.
Both our leagues, I think all the leagues that I'm in, or 2 leagues are 8 teams, and I think and the other one's at 12.
Okay.
So this one is an 8-team league. We did our draft last night, and people were laughing at me at my strategy. And my strategy is this: I fill in. I go I happen to have the first round pick, the first pick overall.
Okay, well that's important. That's important to note.
Do you like? You like to have it because when you get the first pick. So we had 16 picks in the first round, right?
Okay.
And then
there's 16 teams.
Well, one through. Why was 1 through 16? I think it was right.
That doesn't sound right.
No, 1 through 8. No, we have 8 teams in the league. Anyway.
Okay, well, no, there's 8 teams in the league. So you had to wait until the 16th pick to get your next pick.
That's right. So I went 1.
Which means you would also have to wait after the 16th and 17th pick until what, the 33rd pick?
Yes.
To pick again.
So I had 1, 16, 17, and then I had 33 or whatever it was, right?
All right. So basically there were huge gaps in between your picks.
Right. So that's
let's get a little context.
So let me ask you a question. Obviously everybody wants the first pick, but then you have to wait to the 16th to get your next pick. And then you get another one right away. You like that, or you like to have the second and third? I don't know. What do you it doesn't matter.
For me, the only pick that I don't like is being the guy buried in the middle of the round.
Right.
I'd rather be near the top or near the bottom, because then I'm closer to those consecutive picks. Because I feel like I have more control of my destiny.
Well, obviously having the first pick, you're going to get the number one.
No, but even if you have the third pick, at least you have an idea of you're going to have multiple picks close to each other. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't like to be buried in the middle where you're in no man's land.
All right. So my first pick yesterday was Christian McCaffrey.
All right.
And,
Makes sense.
And the only thing is about him, if you remember last year, Josh, how many running backs went down? He went down for a significant amount of time. Saquon Barkley went down.
A lot of people say it was because of there was no offseason. They weren't prepared for the season.
So in fantasy, is the running back in the PPR league is the running back still the most valuable?
Yes, because the drop off from tier 1 to tier 2 running backs is massive, whereas the drop off from tier 1 to tier 2 receivers is not massive.
Now, of course, every football season, I have my fantasy football guru Brian Hartley as a part of my show, and we'll have him on again this year. But my first pick was McCaffrey.
Are you in a league with Brian Hartley?
Yeah, I'm in one league again. One league with him. Yes.
All right, so you're in a league with Brian Hartley. You're in another league, and then you're in the 97.3 ESPN World League.
That is correct.
All right, we'll keep it up with all this.
I don't want to give you my strategies away, but I went with, because you'll use it against me. My next pick was Patrick Mahomes, and because he was there at 16. And Josh, if you look last year, he was he scored he scored a lot of points. Almost as much as a running back.
Well, look, first of all,
he's going to throw 50 touchdowns this year. He's going to probably run for 1,000 yards this year.
I don't know about 1,000 yards, but
900. He'll be close.
I would probably go 700. I'm assuming 4,200 passing yards and 700 rushing yards and 32 touchdowns.
But he's definitely a fantasy dream.
Well, right. And look, here's the problem. I think people who are critical of you. They're not factoring in the reality of how long you have to wait between picks. You are waiting an exorbitant amount of time from 1 to 16.
Right.
And then from 17 to 33. So whoever you have to get guys while you can when you're in that situation. So to me, I don't think it's a bad strategy to take a quarterback early. If you feel like the draft is going in a way where it can get away from you quickly.
And then 16, and then 17th, I went with DK Metcalf. He was the best player left from the receivers.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't think DK is a bad pick. I think DK is going to have another good year this year. I think his year will be very much like last year.
And then Kareem Hunt from the Cleveland Browns.
So Kareem Hunt's interesting because he's in a timeshare with Nick Chubb.
Well, how many? But guess what, Josh? How many teams have running back by committee now? A lot of them do.
They do, but I think that you need to treat Kareem Hunt less like an RB2 and maybe a little more like a flex or an RB3.
Okay. Then I got my next receiver I picked up was Robert Woods from the Rams, and I'll tell you why. I had him last year, and he scored great for me. He was consistent. He scored points every year that helped my team.
And don't forget that with Matthew Stafford there now you have a quarterback who's a better quarterback behind that line to actually get the ball to the receivers.
My next pick was Dallas Goedert, a tight end. I got a lot of criticism for this, but guess what? I think, you saw the first preseason game. I think the tight ends at the Philadelphia scheme and their offense, I think the tight end's going to be used a lot. I think Dallas Goedert's going to have a big year.
In an abominable year last year for the Eagles, Dallas Goedert was still a top 10 fantasy tight end.
And I got ridiculed for that pick.
Why?
People making comments like, well, you got a tight end already? Yeah, I got a tight. I feel. See,
hold on. Were there any other tight ends drafted?
Yeah, there was one ahead of me, I think.
Okay, so someone already drafted Kelsey.
Yes,
or
Jason Kelsey went right away.
Okay.
Travis Kelsey.
Okay,
right
so maybe the criticism isn't. See, this is where people are numbskulls. You don't criticize you for drafting a tight end. You criticize you for drafting Goddard. If someone would have said to you, you should have drafted this person at Goddard, I'm okay with the criticism. But to criticize you for drafting a tight end is just ignorant.
So now my flex pick was Chase Edmonds from Arizona, because they use him in a lot of situations. Josh, he's their number one running back.
Right.
So he's going to get for a flex guy. I think he's a good pick for that.
Well, he's more of an RB2 than a flex. That's a good value pick.
Right. And then people are loading up on when they start loading up on their here's where I was really criticized. People start loading up on their bench players.
Right.
Because you obviously need a good bench. But I went defense because last year I had a great defense and I got a lot of points out of my defense. I took the Buccaneers. They're returning everybody.
There is a very strong argument in the fantasy sports community, because I know a lot of these guys. You've heard me on my shows here on 97.3. I talk with my guy Andy McNamara every week from Sportsnet. I'm friendly with Mike Kay from ESPN, their fantasy guy, their analytics guy. I'm very well aware there's a strong argument in the fantasy community about defense. There are some people who believe if you get a good defense, you can start every week, you get it. Right. There are other people who believe you should go week-to-week matchup. So to me, it just depends on which side you fall on when it comes to the, just your perspective.
Right.
And I feel like, and
of course, I don't put too much stock in kickers. I think they're pretty much by and large. I mean, there's always like top 15 kickers that are all close.
And listen, you have a system that you feel works for you. So to me, I've heard Matthew Berry say this at ESPN. He's always said, if you have a system that works, stick with your system.
Well, I've never, in the three or 4 years that I've been involved with fantasy football, Josh, I haven't won anything yet. But I've been close. The games that I played, when I finished like third or fourth last year.
But it's not just about winning. It's about, are you competitive?
Right. I'm very competitive.
So are you in the playoffs every year?
Yes.
Then you have a system that works.
Okay. And then I got my bench. Leonard Fournette, Jerry Jeudy. I have Jamal.
Jerry Jeudy could be a very sneaky guy to have on your team.
His projection for the first week is 12 points, which isn't bad, but he's not going to start.
But they don't know who the starter is yet.
Right, right. And then that's another thing. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, I think, should probably be the starter.
Well, if Teddy's the starter, that helps Jerry Jeudy.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
If Drew Lock is the starter, that hurts Jeudy.
Jalen Hurts is my backup quarterback.
I like it.
Rob Gronkowski is my backup tight end.
That's fine.
Cole Beasley is my backup. He's my backup receiver.
He's all right.
And Jarvis Landry.
I love Jarvis Landry. I love Jarvis Landry because he's a volume targets guy.
Right. And that's my team.
And in a PPR league, you need targets. And by the way, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham both take turns throwing touchdown passes. What if Jarvis Landry throws a touchdown pass to Odell Beckham Jr.?
I'll take it.
What? That's a boom for you, my friend, in fantasy football.
All right. The second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship course, enjoy fine dining experience, lively atmosphere in the pub. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always, always a great day at Great Bay. Say hello to Ryan Owen for me and Scott Dunn. They're down there. Do a great job. And I love Great Bay Country Club. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including a sporty Ghibli midsize sedan and the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation's certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale. As Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
The Eagles are back, and the Sports Bash has them covered like nobody else in South Jersey.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Listen for training camp updates every weekday at 4 p.m. during Football at 4 with Jeff Mosier, Adam Kaplan, and Andrew DeCecco. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:30. It's 97.3 ESPN.com Eagles insider Jeff Kerr and NFL insider Rob Motti from the Associated Press joins the show every Tuesday and Thursday at 5:30. It's the best Eagles and NFL training camp coverage around, and it's only on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Touchdown! The Eagles win! The Eagles win!
On 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's exclusive radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football.
Train presents The Unstoppables. Those captains of comfort, those gargantuans of the guarantee, those satisfaction savants who persevere perilously beyond probability as the raconteurs of reliability. Here's to Train's heralded heroes of heating and air conditioning, those comfort kings with a tireless tenacity for total turnaround. The Train Comfort Specialists. Just one more reason why it's hard to stop a train.
Hi, this is Joe Lenigan, owner of Lenigan Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call us today for your free train system quote at 609-399-1200 or online at ocnjplumber.com. And please don't forget to ask for the military and senior discount.
Call and again and again. Call and again and again.
Randazzo's Pizza, Randazzo's Pizza, Randazzo's Pizza, the pizza you're gonna love. It's got the freshest taste that you'll find any place. Randazzo's Pizza, there's one right nearby. Randazzo's Pizza, Randazzo's Pizza. It's a pizza like you've never had before. Eat it or take it home, no matter where you roam. Randazzo's Pizza, the tastiest you'll find. Randazzo's Pizza, the tastiest you'll find.
Why would you call anyone else besides Randazzo's Pizzeria and Family Restaurant, 34th and Asbury Avenue in Ocean City. Open year-round, 7 days a week, offering free delivery on the whole island and to the beach. Pizza, pasta, salads, entrees, subs, paninis, and wraps. Voted best of the shore. Call 814-1600. 814-1600.
Randazzo's Pizza, the tastiest you'll find. Randazzo's Pizza, the tastiest you'll find.
Hi, I'm Daniel Baldwin, and I'd like you to do something for me right now. That's right, right now. I want you to go to bioblasting.com. That's BIOBLASTING.com. Right now. Just go to bioblasting.com or call them at 833-BIO-BLAST. Use promo code ESPN to get 20% off your order. Bioblasting, located in Egg Harbor Township. People, pet, and planet friendly.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN. Josh, before we get back to baseball, I want to talk to you about some of the new young quarterbacks that came into the league this year.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence to Jacksonville. Is he going to be the starter down there?
Yeah, he's going to be the starter. Urban
because I think
Meyer.
Urban Meyer, I mean, if he doesn't start him.
Listen, Urban Meyer is playing a shell game because Urban Meyer is not an NFL coach. That's why.
What do you mean he's not an NFL coach?
He's still trying to coach like a college coach.
What leads you to believe that?
Because for some reason he thinks that, okay, you draft the guy number 1 overall,
right?
And then you say that Trevor Lawrence is, well, we're still figuring out what he can do.
Well, look at Nick Sirianni. We know Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter.
But Jalen Hurts is taking the first team reps every single week.
But he still hasn't been named the starter.
But he's taking the first team reps.
All right.
Urban Meyer is actually letting Gardner Minshew take first team reps away from Trevor Lawrence. Like, this dude literally thinks he's back at Ohio State, and he's got quarterbacks who are competing for a job.
Well, that's with Nick Sirianni. He's got a competition going here.
No, he doesn't. Sirianni has never given a number one snap to any other quarterback in camp except for Hurts. There's a huge difference.
Semantics. He just,
actions speak louder than words.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. All right. Zach Wilson at New York, the Jets, the Jets have had so much trouble ever since Joe Namath left. They haven't been able to get a good quarterback or someone that can stick around for any length of period of time.
Well, I was going to say this is Bill Parcells left because remember, Bill Parcells got them to an AFC championship.
Yeah, who was their quarterback? I can't even remember.
Vinny Testaverde.
1 year, right?
Well, I mean, they only went that
right.
Way.
Well, I mean, it wasn't like what I'm saying is like a long.
No, but I mean, like they got to a championship game.
Right, but I'm talking about New York Jets have not had a franchise quarterback since.
Oh, a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, since Joe Namath.
Yeah, Joe Namath is definitely the fact that he is easily the best quarterback in the franchise history is a little bit of an embarrassment. Not to Joe, but I mean the franchise to be unable to find even anyone else in the conversation.
I think it's like the ghost of Joe Namath has the cloud has hung over the Jets. They can't get a quarterback. Now I was never when they drafted Sam Darnold. I was never in love with him. You know what? I watched a lot of him at USC, and I don't know why. I was always baffled by that hype. They had him so high, ranked so high.
Well, a lot of people did, and it was because of the fact that Darnold has those intangible traits as a quarterback.
Didn't like him at USC.
That you
like. It wasn't shocking to me that he didn't last.
He didn't last because he had Adam Gase.
Well, that's true.
Adam Gase, threw him in the toilet and tried to flush him, for goodness sake.
All right, Trey Lance is in the 49ers, and they got Garoppolo. Is he like, who do you think?
Kyle Shanahan has said that Garoppolo's the starter.
But Garoppolo, he doesn't are you impressed with him?
Hey, he was a quarterback of a Super Bowl team. Remember the 49ers got Super Bowl a couple years ago with him at quarterback.
Yeah, but I think one of the reasons why they didn't win was because of him.
No, they didn't win because there was a guy named Patrick Mahomes on the other side.
That's true, too. All right. Justin Fields is very intriguing to me because he, out of all the quarterbacks that came out of college last year, I think he had the best tool set, to be honest with you.
I love Justin Fields, and I think the Bears are completely mismanaging the situation. I think Matt Nagy is an imbecile. He keeps insisting that Andy Dalton has to be the starter.
And Andy Dalton, he's been Cincinnati, Dallas. Why would you make Andy Dalton? Why do you put them in the same conversation? You got to start a new era, and Justin Fields right there staring at the face. I mean, I guess Nagy is an imbecile.
Nagy was in Kansas City when the Chiefs had Pat Mahomes sit for almost the entire season, and Alex Smith started every game but the last game. I think he's trying to replicate the same formula.
Yeah, but
there's a huge difference in those situations.
I was going to say, Alex Smith is 10 times the quarterback.
Alex Smith is a winning NFL quarterback. He is a quarterback who has a much better resume than Andy Dalton does.
Andy Dalton, there's no comparison in my book between those two.
Do you know that Andy Dalton has 0 playoff wins?
That does not surprise me. No, I probably would have guessed that.
Can you name some quarterbacks who have more playoff wins than Andy Dalton?
I can name a bunch of them.
Right. You know who they include? John Kitna, Trent Dilfer,
Tannehill,
TJ Yates,
Tannehill.
There's a bunch of dudes, like regular dude quarterbacks, average quarterbacks who have playoff wins. Andy Dalton has none.
Does Fitzpatrick have any? I don't think he has any.
He's never been to the playoffs.
No, he's never even been to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the Washington Redskins starting quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's because they had Taylor Heineke, and they didn't draft one.
And then finally, Max Jones, who's probably the most intriguing one. He's got some size. He's got a cannon for an arm, but he's not going to beat out. Cam Newton.
And I don't think he should. I know the whole who should start in New England is a big debate point right now in the NFL. I just don't believe that you just hand the job over to a young player. And I think Cam still has some juice left in the arm.
I just don't like Cam Newton. When he steps to the microphone with his hat and his feather in his hat, and he looks like, what was that? Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That's what he looks like.
Listen, if he wants to be a little eccentric, I don't care. Let him be eccentric as long as he puts in the work to be on the team.
You know, I've seen people in the media, on SportsCenter, some of these analysts criticize him for that.
Well, I mean, people that
have played the game, Josh, people that know that it looks like he puts more effort and time into his wardrobe than to his game.
Well, it's his side hobby.
What's that?
It's a side hobby. Listen, here's the problem. People tend to criticize something they don't either understand or they don't appreciate. You know what I mean? And I think people look at Cam and they're like, he looks weird.
But Josh, this goes back to what I said yesterday.
He looks weird.
But this goes back to what I said yesterday about Singleton. If you come to the podium and you're winning and you're a winner and you're playing, your game is good and you're getting results, I don't think people mind about that. It's when you stink and then you don't have an explanation of why you stink and you come looking like you're Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you become a spectacle.
Did you watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit recently? You made multiple references.
No, I just I don't know. I don't know. It just came I don't know the colors and he look. He's a great dresser. I get it, but he's not. Is he a winner?
Well, he won a league MVP and he got a team to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and that team was not exactly that great. You remember that Panthers team?
I know that Panthers team.
Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. The Broncos won that Super Bowl because that defense was so elite. They carried Peyton Manning's arm hanging off his shoulder to a championship. That's why Peyton had to retire because he realized he couldn't throw anymore.
But my point is, and it goes back to Singleton. You know, he makes a tackle 15 yards down the field. Instead of a 25-yard gain, it might have been it was a 15-yard gain. But he gets up and he's celebrating like he stuffed the guy 5 yards in the backfield.
Oh, let him. It's a game. Have fun.
Oh, really? Is that right? That's you. You like this fun league.
Listen, if you don't like him doing that, then do something to make him shut up. Somebody go block him into the sidelines and make him shut up. If you don't,
I want to like the guy. It's hard to like.
If you don't like somebody celebrating after something, then you turn to your offensive lineman. Then you turn to the O lineman on the next play and say, "Hey, so and so, is he Singleton? Block him into the next century."
Listen, Josh, I have no problem with Tatis's celebrations, but when Odubel Herrera does it, it makes my blood curl.
Hey, if you don't like Odubel,
why? So explain. So you're my philosopher. Explain it to me. Why is it okay in my mind that it doesn't bother me that Tatis, when he hits a home run, does his antics, but when Odubel Herrera, when he does it, it pisses me off.
Maybe because you just don't like Odubel.
Maybe it's because Tatis.
Maybe you think Tatis is fun to watch. You think Odubel is exasperating.
No, because Tatis delivers. He hit, what is he at, 34 home runs? He's playing hurt, and he's still playing better than, you know what I mean? Just do it when it's called for.
I think you just like Tatis better. I think if Tatis is a guy that you look at, you say,
like when Votto celebrates.
I wish he was a Philly.
Like when Votto celebrates, I want to club him over the head.
Yeah, because there's probably a part of you that just doesn't like Votto. You know what I mean? But if Votto is on your team, you love it. We always love it when it's our guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
And when it's a superstar that's on our team, we love it. Like you used to hate Bryce Harper,
right? I used to hate him.
Now you're about 2 steps away from buying a Harper jersey.
Well, I don't know. He's batting two in his last. He's 7 for his last 33. He's batting 212.
Yeah, well, one of those 7 was a home run when nobody was getting on base and nobody was hitting in a game versus the Diamondbacks. Remember that?
By the way, Bryce Harper. Yeah, I do remember that. Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, and Andrew McCutchen. They're 15 for their last 100.
Dude,
150.
Real Muto is the biggest problem with those
What's
three.
going on, Josh?
Real Muto, the whole shtick with him, he was a great hitting catcher. And he's batting, 261 this year?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm just, you know what? I'm watching, and we're sitting here in the studio. We get the highlights on, and they keep playing this Phillies highlight. It just
It bothers your ears.
Oh my God. I can't believe they lost the game last night. Two outs at the bottom of the ninth?
I'm telling you, man. They should
By
have
the way,
pulled Nola before it got too bad.
So let me ask you a question, Josh. Was that loss last night? Is that it for the Phillies? I mean, they obviously they're only 5 out.
It's not it, because if they win today, that means they get 2 out of 3 versus the Padres.
Kyle Gibson's on the hill for the Phils today.
Which, remember, Kyle Gibson has only allowed 2 or 3 runs every game that he started for the Phillies so far. So if the Phillies literally score 4 or 5 runs, they'll win the game today.
And then, Brad Miller can't.
By the way, who's starting for the Padres? I got to look that up.
Look that up. I wasn't paying attention. I just saw Phillies. I
want to know.
Yeah, all right. I'll tell you. Let's do this business. Then we'll wrap it up with.
Let's see how fast I can get
our
this.
last comments. All right, the second hour of the locker room.
It's Stamen.
Stamen. And what's his record?
We're gonna find out. Craig Stamen. He is.
That's pretty quick, Josh.
Well, he's actually not even a full-time starting pitcher. Apparently, he's an opener starter. So he's not even a real starting pitcher, Bill.
So the Phillies got a shot.
Phillies, this might be a bullpen game today, Bill.
I mean, they only had 5 hits again last night.
There's hope. A bullpen game. You win that.
10 hits in their last 2 games, Josh. 10 hits.
By the way, Stamen has a save in 7 holds this year.
And then Aaron Nola comes out and hits a double last night. Their pitcher.
Well, yeah, that's a bad look. You can't let the pitcher out hit you.
All right. The second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. For more information, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Say hello to Radio Ron Ralston. Hey, just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey to attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. And also, we want to extend our prayers, thoughts and prayers to the Dunnick family. Ken lost his mom during the week, and we're thinking about our good buddy Ken Dunnick and his family. All right, when we return, we'll wrap it up. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles finish the 2021 preseason this Friday night against the New York Jets.
Takes the snap. Here comes the rush. Let's go. Complete into the end zone. Touchdown, Tucker.
Merrill and Mike call all the action starting at 7:30. This is where the Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Finding an electrician that is dependable, prompt, and experienced is important. Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Service is just that. Service in Atlantic and Cape May counties for 40 years, Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services specializes in both commercial and residential work and provides 24-hour emergency services. No job too big and no job too small. Call Tom Jackson & Sons Electrical Services. They do it all. Call for a free estimate, 609-399-1999.
Call Tom Jackson and Sons for electrical, they're number 1.
Hi, this is Jonathan Young, Camden County Commissioner, reminding everyone to get your COVID-19 vaccine shot to protect yourself and your neighbors. I got my shot to protect myself and those around me because the fight against COVID-19 is about protecting your entire community. For updated information on COVID-19's vaccination efforts, visit CamdenCounty.com. We're all in this together. Let's play our part to stay safe and healthy this summer.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
With the help of Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond, I get everyone's morning started with a smile. It has a delicious and hearty combination of the Cheerios you love, whole grain oats, and sliced almonds for an extra crunchy crunch. And that's how I set the rhythm for a great day. Look for Cheerios Oat Crunch Almond in your local grocery store.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schweim, 97.3 ESPN. You know, Josh, with the Phillies, there could be some help on the horizon. Zach Eflin looks like he might be on his way back. He did some Double-A work. He threw 21 of his 31 pitches for strikes in 2 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball. That's a pretty good sign.
Listen, man, there's a possibility that Zach Eflin and Seranthony Dominguez are back with this team to start September when they have the September rosters expand. So, or you can have them a little before, but the fact you might get both of them back at the same time, I think is a cool deal.
And, I'd rather, I just read off some of the batting averages for these guys in the last 10, 15 games. And, hey, listen, it's still August. You got the whole month of September. I'd rather go through the slump now than in September. And this team is only 5 out, Josh. I mean, it's not like, how about the Mets? You be in the Mets situation.
Yeah, well, the Mets are just a complete.
They're 7 out.
By the way, we got a little news I need to bring up.
Sure.
The Eagles have announced that out of concern for the safety of the fans and the team, the Eagles have canceled tonight's public practice at the Lincoln Financial Field due to the weather forecast.
Weather forecast.
Yes.
I saw him. I just went on my weather app. There's no rain in the forecast.
Yeah, there is.
Is there?
Yeah.
It's 30. No, I didn't see any. I'm looking at my weather app. I don't have any rain.
Your app's wrong.
How about that?
Let's see here.
Weather bug. I got weather bug.
I got my
hourly
weather
report. No precipitation. 20% at 4 o'clock. That's it.
I got 62% rain at 12 p.m.
Is that right?
55 at 1, 49 at 2, 47 at 3, 51 at 4.
I'm going to have to get rid of weather bug. How about that, Josh?
Yeah, mine's called my phone calls it AccuWeather.
Well, I like AccuWeather. They're accurate.
There's a chance of thunderstorms tonight.
All right, Josh.
We have an aerial flood watch in effect until tonight.
That's it. I'm getting rid of this app. I'll show it to you.
Well, look, there's the weather alert right there. How about that? Look at that.
I got sunshine with a couple clouds in front of the sun. All right, Josh. Reese Hoskins, man. What's going on?
I was telling you off the air.
Is he babying it? I mean, what is going on?
Dude, I was telling you off the air. I think they're covering up a more serious situation. There's no way you can miss this much time and it just be a regular groin issue.
Like if you have a groin injury in hockey, because when you skate,
you're pushing off the leg.
You're pushing off your leg like that. Football players, especially the offensive linemen and running backs, I mean, even a quarterback can get away with maybe a something wrapped up. It's hard to wrap, but offensive linemen, receivers, and people with that to rely on their speed, yeah. But a first baseman, dude, he's not that much running involved.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think they're covering something up. I think there's something else. It might be one of those sports hernia things they call a groin injury. Because sometimes when they say groin, it's actually lower abdomen, and it can be one of those sports hernias.
Wow, Josh, the show's over already?
How about them apples?
Oh my God, you like apples? Hey, like them apples.
I do like apples.
And there's the replay of the Phillies game last night. I'm pissed. If I see it one more time, I'm going to throw something through the TV.
Probably the fourth time you've seen it.
By the way, there's Mr. Nolan the Nola brother, when Aaron was pitching against his
brother, yeah, that was
Austin.
That was fun.
That was pretty cool.
That was fun.
All right, Josh, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. You did a great job today, and go home and get some rest.
I'll do my best, Bill.
And stop working 8 days a week. All right, thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Of course, Mike Gill will be back tomorrow, I guess, right, Josh?
Yes.
Talk about his team and the rest of the week. And then, of course, you got game night with Josh heading Monday through Friday. I'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend.